Is YouTube worth it, even if nobody watches your videos? That is the question I plan to address in today's video. But on the bigger picture, I want to address how I have changed since I started YouTube 4 years ago. And most of it's been personal change here, mostly, somewhat here. But anyway, I have my notes here. Let me actually move this table over a little so I can look down closer. So basically this video is about how YouTube has changed me, but there's got a couple of secondary themes also. Number one, which is really raging all over the platform, is YouTube worth it even if no one watches your videos? And the second theme is that if you are over 40, you need to start a YouTube channel so you can share your life experiences because you have knowledge. I have nailed both of those on the head before they were raging themes, because yes, I started this channel at 55, and no, I have not made a single penny from actual YouTube yet. But if you're new or fairly new and you need a reminder of who I am, I'm Chip. This channel is Chillin' with Chip, or Chillin' with CP59 Fit, which is my brand name. I run another channel called CP59 Fit Unconventional Healthy Strategies, so you'll probably get a little bit of bleed over on unconventional healthy living strategies in this video. Let me go over these bullet points because I just made about a 20-minute video on my GoPro and the darn thing overheated as I was trying to wrap it up. So I'm back to the headphones and the cell phone. Even got the ceiling fan going so this one doesn't overheat. But I had tried to emphasize the bullet points and give the explanations in the last one, but I'll just run through them right now real quick. And I have 6 reasons or ways that YouTube has changed me, even though I've never made a penny off of it. Okay, number 1, freedom. Number 2, purpose. Number 3 is, I wrote down Jim Rohn. It's a quote from Jim Rohn. I'll get into that when we get there. Number 4 is finances and chasing. Well, really, it's kind of a subset of freedom, is the ability to live anywhere and still attempt to make an income. Number 5 is my ability to use the gift of gab, and being comfortable in front of a camera is a great gift, or a great skill or talent or whatever it is. I have gift written down. But number 6, of course, you save the best for last. And then if your battery dies, you don't get to it. But anyway, the best benefit, I think, is to be able to find my tribe. And I'll just leave it at that, and then I'll rush back up to the top here. Good thing I put it in a PDF this time so I don't lose my place like I did at the beach. So let me give a couple of minor themes that I may have dwelt too long on in the last one. But you've often heard it said that the journey is the destination. And I want to go down that rabbit hole, that sometimes getting to the destination, or how you get there, or what you learn getting there, is more important than what you do or achieve by getting there. I've heard that for probably 30 or 40 years, and it's taken that long for it to sink in. I think with the types of careers I've done, I was used to processing only the critical information. You know, you might be on a crime scene, you might be on the scene of an accident as a police officer. You're trying to figure out what's going on, you're trying not to get killed, so your mind is purposely zeroing in on this, that, or the other, to the extent that it blurs out everything else. And I think now that I've slowed down, now that I've reduced the stress, I didn't even write this down, this is all just coming out. Now that I've just reduced the stress, I'm kind of like that guy in Limitless that took the NZT pill and then he could figure everything out. I think my brain, even though it almost died with a stroke almost 10 years ago, that it is now has the ability and the lower cortisol levels, because I've got lower insulin levels now, and I've got lower glucose and lower weight. All that works together. There's your health tip for the day. I'm not as dependent. I've cut out most of social media, so I'm not dependent on dopamine hits anymore. It's giving my brain time to process some of the stuff that it has stored way down in there, and let me learn that the journey actually is the destination. And I'm glad I've been on this journey, and I'm glad those of you that have been with me for 4 years are still with me, and welcome to anybody new. I think I already did my intro. And one thing I have learned, that is, I put at the top because I didn't do it when in the notes, in the bullet points, was that you can actually give yourself happiness right now. You can give yourself love right now. That doesn't have to come from somebody else. In fact, one of the books I've been having on loop while I sit in the hot tub, walk around the pool, take a walk around the community drive, I got it everywhere, is that you are happiness, so you can't find happiness. That's a little bit new agey. I'm not going to go into a lot of that today, but I am processing that and trying to figure it out. So one thing that, well, this goes along with the journey being the destination, is that my definition of success has changed recently. My definition of freedom has changed recently. And I don't know that it's really changed. I think it's just been refined through, well, I explain that more as I get going. So let me get to that. I'll try to remember to add in my definition of success when I get to some of the people that YouTube has taken me to, which will reduce the length of this video a little bit. But bullet point number 1 was freedom. And I always sought freedom. I've always valued freedom, but I always thought it meant I could just have enough money to do what I wanted, when I wanted, where I wanted, with who I wanted. And that probably is a definition of freedom. But I was watching a lady named Maggie McCormack from Australia on YouTube. I've watched her a few times. She's one of those over 40s that started a YouTube channel and got monetized in like 4 months, because she's very transparent, she's very caring, she's very knowledgeable. She's a podiatrist, so she's a pretty smart lady, and she's creative. I'm creative. She was, I hate to say in a previous life, but her dream has always been to be famous as an actress. So yes, she's very skilled on camera. She does better editing than me. Anybody does better editing than me, because I don't generally edit, but that may be changing in a couple of weeks, as I'm going to have dinner with somebody that I want to ask if they can help me with editing. But anyway, her definition of freedom was that when something that used to scare you no longer scares you anymore. And for me and my transformation over the last 4 years with this channel, I'm going to say that I'm not scared of being unemployed in the traditional sense of don't think that YouTube is not work. Don't think that pet sitting is not work, but it is not a steady income. So I guess under unemployment, I am no longer scared of not having enough, of scarcity, of lack of finances, whatever term you want to use. Maggie calls what I think of God as the universe, and she says the universe is caring and good, which she didn't always think that way. I've always known that my God loves me and will always take care of me. Not that I can be stupid about finances and fiscal responsibility, but that's not as big of a fear as it was in the past, or it doesn't scare me, is the word she used. I prefer to use fear. That I'm not afraid of being considered homeless by other people. No, I don't. I sold my house. I gave up my apartment. I've lived with my parents. I've rented other places. I've done a lot of pet sitting just to have a roof over my head. So I'm not homeless in the sense that I don't have a roof over my head. I don't have food in my belly. I have all that. I'm very well taken care of. I've never wanted a day in my life. And that But I guess you always have that fear that if I do this, it's going to cause this, and I'm going to end up under a bridge begging on the corner. Probably, in fact, Dad said, maybe if you got on that corner, you'd make more money than you're making now. And that's probably true. If I made $1, I'd make more than I have made on YouTube. But that's not sustainable. This is. I'm no longer scared of other people's judgments. I'm trying not to be scared of my own judgment. I'm not scared of aging, and I'm not scared of the physical changes that come to my body through aging. And now let's go to purpose. Basically, you're either growing or dying, and I got that from quite a few people. I'd heard that before. I was a big YouTube fan. But YouTube got me connected to Dr. Benjamin Hardy, an occupational psychologist that I did 18 months of study under as I was transitioning out of Texas, and then I signed up for another Q4 rapid transformation, October to January. That's been discussed on the other channel, so I won't go into a lot of details here. But in that, he mentioned a book by somebody that I listened to on one of these audio book programs I have that referred me to a book by Bob Proctor. It was like the next recommended thing. AI runs everything in our life, whether we know it or not. If you like this book, that program's going to recommend you one. If you like what I say, YouTube AI is going to recommend my channel to you again, and I hope you will subscribe, but only if you're going to watch it regularly and for extended periods. Clicking on the video and then clicking off does me more harm than good, so please don't do that. If you're going to, don't do that to anybody unless you really don't like the video or you don't like them. But if it recommends a video, please at least watch the majority of it, because that's how YouTube works. Works best. But for point number 2, let's get back to growing or dying. I got referred to Bob Proctor. He's written several books that he's famous for. One of them was called You Were Born Rich, and the other one, which I've listened to maybe a little bit more, is called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. That book reminded me that I had watched The Secret video, documentary, movie, whatever it's called, years ago. I went back and found that, which then I found out who wrote it. Then I found out she's published a new book recently called The Greatest Secret, which is another audio book that I've had on perpetual loop. And that's where I got the, that's where I got the I am happiness. And you can't find happiness, because that would be saying like, I'm trying to find Chip, which I am Chip. So I've already found him. I might find more parts of him later. But according to Rhonda Byrne and The Greatest Secret, you are happiness. So you don't have to find happiness. And I think success could be the same thing. You don't find success, success finds you. And that's kind of how I've learned here in the last few days at YouTube work. It draws the people to me that gel with me, which is finding my tribe, which is number 6. I'm getting to that. What am I on? Number 3. Okay, Jim Rohn had a quote, and I quoted it in my end of the year video on CP59 Fit for 2024. It says, you don't have to do extraordinary things to succeed. You just have to do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. And yes, it's pretty extraordinary to post a video once or twice or 3 times a week, whatever it works out. And when you're balancing 2 channels, I hate to even say what day it's going to come out on, but in general, I'm going to try to have a Wednesday video on CP59 Fit and a Saturday video on Chilling with Chip. And if I get more up, I get more up. If I don't, I don't. But becoming persistent and consistent is like an overarching theme, keystone goal for 2025. So let's watch and see what happens, because I'm not going to do anything extraordinary. I'm just going to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. Thank you, Jim Rohn, and may you rest in peace. Number 4 is I have done Amway and other multi-level marketing direct sell organizations for multiple decades in the past. And every time I got in, it was to improve health and to improve financial health, which ultimately the big picture was financial freedom. Is what was the it was the marketing, it was the pull, you know. Oh, you can do it, you can do it, you can get free. All you got to do is do the work. But ultimately, to me, financial freedom was the ability to live where I wanted, when I wanted, with who I wanted. So that would be either a cruise ship year-round. I thought I put it on do not just. Sorry, somebody called me. I should have put it on airplane mode. Oh, then I wouldn't have been able to use the Bluetooth. But anyway, I'll get back to her later. Sorry about that. Just another thing I have to learn how to use technology and not get phone calls. I wonder if I can use the Bluetooth if I put it in airplane mode. So where was I? Why? What I consider financial freedom, etc., etc. Living on a beach, living in the Caribbean, living on a cruise ship, somewhere warm, somewhere sunny, sandy, salt water, with the people I want to be with. That would be my definition of freedom. And YouTube, to some extent, has provided that, even though it hasn't provided any money. But because it, number one, it gave me the freedom not to be scared of living my best life. So yeah, that's a big change. I hope the recording started up again. I got a sign saying it was going to stop so I could answer the call. I hope the number's turning, so I guess it's still working. Okay, so yeah, basically the freedom to live anywhere I want, and I really am doing that. And where I'm living may not be exactly where I want right now, but I want to not be paying rent. And that's just a financial reality, that when you're living on a constrained amount of money and no income, you have to be cautious where you spend it. Which brings me to income. It's not there yet with YouTube. It will be, though. I gave up the job in Fort Worth with the municipal pension. Well, I could earn a municipal pension of $180 a month if I stayed there 5 full years. I was there 3.5. And I thought, well, you know, you got to be a dingbat if you can't make $180 on YouTube in 5 years, but really thinking 10 or 15 when I would need it in quote unquote retirement. I still have, 5 years before the typical retirement age. So yeah, let's start today, January 31st, 2025. See if I can't make at least $180 a month through whatever I do that shoots off of this YouTube by the time I turn 65. I'm sure it's going to come a lot faster because I've already put in 4 years of work and I've already done a lot of the change. Which brings me to number 5, which I have always been accused of having the gift of gab. Why some of these videos are a little longer than others. And that is a good thing, because now people can see me, they can know me. If they like it, they can join me. If they don't, thanks, bye-bye. Just keep on moving to the next one. If you don't like me, you have permission to click off of the video, because I don't want you on the channel anyway. You will just drag down the numbers and confuse the algorithm. So if you don't like somebody that rambles sometimes, if you don't like what I'm talking about, then just keep on moving. God bless you. And that I was a photographer for 25 years, professional photographer. I am much more used to being behind the camera, but often people wanted pictures of me. So I think the TCU kids, where I was the flash guy for 5.5 years, for always wanting to get in a picture with me. So I got used to be in front of the camera, and I got comfortable with what I look like on camera. So that is a big bonus when you launch a YouTube. In fact, one guy I watched yesterday said that puts you miles ahead, and I hope that's true. I may not be the best looking, I may not be the fittest. I'm not going to get 1,000 followers on Instagram. You know, oh, I'm so strong, look at my chest. And I'm not making fun of those kids. If that's what works today, that's what works. I've just missed that boat. that train has left the station. I'm not going to ever earn followers for showing my chest and abs, because they're not what they look like on what other people look like on Instagram these days. But I am comfortable as long as I've got a shirt on, being in front of the camera and talking to you. But here is the best thing I have found from YouTube, is that community. And that's what the video that got posted on CP59 Fit Wednesday was all about. It's improving the community, finding my tribe, getting a network of like-minded individuals. And you might say, well, isn't that an echo chamber? And I would say, who cares? Do you get a... And I don't mind people of differing opinions. I don't mind people of different religions, colors, races, sexes, anything, lifestyles. I am fairly tolerant of just about everything. But if I start talking to you about only eating meat and you're a vegetarian, are we really going to gel that well? You know, there's just sometimes it's better to be around like-minded individuals because you enjoy your time more. You can speak freely, and I do have a family I pet sit for that are both vegetarians, and we had a very enjoyable lunch down at the beach. I ate shrimp. They ate baked potatoes, green beans, and a couple of hush puppies that they said, "Ooh, that's as sweet as a donut." I'm like, yeah, it is. But, you know, once in a while it ain't going to hurt. They were pretty good, and I guess I did notice they were sweet, but I didn't realize until they said it that, yeah, there was sugar added in with the cornmeal, and all vegetarian though. They just wouldn't use the butter. So I can get along with people very well of different mindsets. But what I think is going to happen, especially on the carnivore based channel, is that I will develop deeper relationships with those that are pursuing the same goals with their health through the same channels that I'm pursuing them through. And on this channel, we'll probably consider it a virtual campfire. Think back to the Wild West where there's just openness and you're wandering around and maybe by yourself taking care of your flock of whatever. I guess you didn't really take care of flocks of bison, but Sean Cannell used this analogy yesterday and I'm butchering it, but he said, you know, you might decide to build a campfire and another wanderer sees it and comes and you're able to break bread, which is probably not the best term to use for somebody that only eats meat, but I do eat bread once in a while. But you know what I mean? You have a meal together. You share camaraderie. You get to know each other. And I hate to use the term, I have found out who my true friends are, because whether you watch my YouTube channel or not doesn't classify whether you're a true friend or not. But I will put it this way: the people that are truly interested in supporting me and or younger enough or smart enough to figure out technology have followed me on these channels for 4 years, and I'm very honored and proud of that. In fact, one lady in Canada that I think found me through the viral post on Facebook, we've talked on the phone, she comments a lot on my videos, mentioned that weather permitting, she would drive down from Canada to Pennsylvania to meet me for this meetup. And even though her son is a neurologist, it took me and my YouTube channel to give her permission to eat steak in her retirement and be okay with it, that it wasn't going to kill her. So that's the kind of community I'm looking for. People I can pick up the phone and call, like the one that just called me. Didn't know I was filming on the camera. But come join me at my virtual campfire. Change your paradigm. It really gives you the opportunity. By changing my paradigm and being on YouTube, it gives me the opportunity to pour into and invest into others while I also bond with them. And being a single person at almost 60 years old, community is becoming more and more important to me. In fact, that is why I drove all the way to Arizona, because I was in an online community with a lady who I thought was going to hire me to work out there with her. That didn't work out because she changed as I got on the road from Tennessee. I was still willing to work for her, but now I think I have found my passion, my purpose, my freedom, and I'm very happy that God has guided my steps all along the way and will continue to do so. So thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll get this loaded up and it'll go live tomorrow, February 1st, 2025. So the new quarter, this will be my first video of the new quarter, which is 3 months, not necessarily January, February, March, April. where I'm really going to concentrate, be consistent and persistent with these channels, and let's see where I am on my birthday at the end of April. Well, my birthday party celebration is going to be between Halloween and Thanksgiving in the U.S., so early November. I don't know where it's going to be yet. Once we get the community built, we'll decide that. But just a heads up. Thanks. God bless. Love you. Bye-bye.